Hello, my name is Francis Bradley and I'm the President and CEO of the Canadian Electricity Association. Thank you for joining us today to hear discussions from members of our Board of Directors and CEA's leadership team on the state of Canada's electricity industry in 2021. Back in February 2020, virtually nobody, with the exception of Bill Gates in his now famous March 2015 TED Talk, would have predicted the arrival of and resulting devastating global impact of COVID-19. Much has been written about the pandemic, how it laid bare the fragility of global supply chains. It demonstrated how unprepared society is for a sustained emergency, and that there are limits to the surge capacity in our healthcare system. The pandemic also showed the resilience of our critical infrastructure. La pandémie a fait couler beaucoup d'encre. Il a été question de la façon dont elle a exposé la fragilité des chaînes d'approvisionnement mondiales. On a expliqué que la pandémie montre à quel point la société est mal préparée pour faire face à une situation d'urgence de longue durée. On a aussi dit qu'elle met en évidence les limites de la capacité de notre système de santé à répondre à une demande de pointe. Mais la pandémie a aussi fait ressortir la résilience de nos infrastructures essentielles. The economic impact on businesses and individuals due to the economic downturn was also unprecedented. Shuttered businesses and rising unemployment impacted electricity customers' ability to meet their commitments. As the snow melted, overdue utility bills led to a rise in deferrals and past due customers. In some jurisdictions, programs were introduced to ease the pressure on customers, but in some cases, this simply transferred the cash flow pressure from the customer to the LDCs. While initially praised by commentators for its response to COVID-19, the federal government's signals about its priorities in the fall and winter became increasingly opaque, with suggestions that priorities should be placed upon a green recovery, on fiscal prudence, or on preparing for subsequent waves of the pandemic. The good news about the rollout of vaccines, initially met with significant relief across the country, has since been tempered due to concerns about the availability of supply sufficiency and tempering vaccine skepticism in order to ensure eventual herd immunity. Our government was focused for much of 2020 on the pandemic, but moved at the end of the year on two pieces of legislation key to our sector: net zero GHG emissions by 2050 and implementing the recommendations of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And so, like the government, our industry is looking forward. We're ready to renew, to return to work we were doing before the world stopped. We're ready to build back better. Today you'll hear reflections on 2020 and how this changed forever the way our businesses operate. Aujourd'hui, j'ai invité quelques membres de notre conseil d'administration à se joindre à moi pour réfléchir à la pandémie et aux leçons que nous en avons tirées et pour en discuter. Après cette discussion, nous nous pencherons sur les mesures prises par le gouvernement afin d'atteindre la carbone neutralité. Nous analyserons aussi le contexte réglementaire au début de 2021, l'effectif du secteur de l'électricité et l'évolution de la clientèle au Canada.